Hey, what's going on guys, Oink here, and in today's video we are going to be starting round 1 of GT Academy 2014. You guys, I'm sure, know all about this, and round 1 sets us off in a Nissan Leaf G at Brands Hatch circuit. The time you got to get for gold is 1 minute and 5 seconds, 0.5. We'll start off here just by showing the lap at full speed, and then I'm going to break it down and go corner by corner and break this whole lap down. It's a very technical lap, and you'll notice first of all that I'm on lap 3, so I'd normally recommend starting out on the left hand side. We'll go into this in more detail, but you'll see that I came across from the right to the left, because my lap 2 was, I was trying to get as good a time as possible on lap 2, so I wasn't in the perfect starting position for the start of this lap, but nevertheless it was an alright lap. At the moment it's ranked in the top 1000, somewhere around 7 or 800th. Still several tenths out there at least. I mean, obviously the guy in first is on a 103 flat, this is a 103.5, so I'm 5 tenths down on the guy in first, but, on my own personal best, there's at least a few more tenths until it really starts getting to, the final little push. And I really lost quite a lot of time on the last corner there and, various other places. So, still time out there for me, but the lap is good enough. I think you guys will be able to learn something from this. And, yeah, I mean, obviously it's top 1000, so it's, it's a reasonable lap at the moment. But let's really now look at this and break this down turn by turn. Coming in for turn 1 then, you're going to want to be as far over to the left-hand side of the track as possible. Of course, you don't want to touch the grass at all, but as close to the white line on the left hand side as possible is your optimal starting position, and you're going to be starting your turn in on the white line. So once you reach the white line, you're going to be coming off the gas and turning in towards the apex. Multiple things make this an extremely tricky corner. Blind apex, you can't quite see where you're going over the hill, there's an off camber. Various things like that make it a really tricky corner to get right, but it's just about getting the knack of it, getting the practice and the rhythm, and eventually you start to kind of get the flow. As I said, you want to be just coming off the gas, slight stab of the brakes. You don't need to be 100%, maybe 20-25% on the brakes. Then head towards the apex, add a little bit of throttle so that you understeer just wide enough that you're not clipping the cones on the inside. It will push the car just wide enough, and you want to clip that apex as close as possible. This track is all about getting the optimal speeds through the corners as well. You can't afford to be losing any speed at all in pretty much any of these corners. And the optimal speed for this one, you want to be trying to apex around between 72 and 74 miles an hour. And that will get you just the right exit speed to carry you up the hill. So let's play this back in slow-mo. So you can see as we get to the white line, there's a slight dab of the brakes, a little bit of throttle as well to get the car turning in. And once the cars are about the right speed, I start back on the gas, somewhere between 25 and 50% to make sure that it's not going to hit the cones on the inside. That just keeps it understeering just wide enough. Clip the apex, and as we come out, I actually drop down to about 71, so a little bit slower than I might have liked. And a little bit of spare room on the outside, but obviously make sure you're not touching the sand. End up wide, and then back onto the track coming up the hill. For turn 2 then, you want to be starting your turn in and braking just after the big shadow on the floor underneath the Palmer sign. So maybe 5 to 10 meters after that, you want to angle the car towards the apex and start braking. It's quite heavy to begin with, the braking, but as you near the apex, you want to start lifting off the brake, which will allow the car to turn in. Otherwise, you'll get a bit too much understeer and you won't make the corner as tight as you need to do. You want to be getting back onto the gas around where the cones are. You'll see some cones marking the apex of the corner. Around there is your point at which to be getting back on the accelerator. And the speed of which you want to try and get it is somewhere around 40-42 if possible. I was a little bit slow on the gas here, so I was a little bit slow on the exit as well. But 42 would be like around the perfect. I think the #1 guy gets it 41-42, and he gets a really good exit from that. Watching it back in slow-mo then, you can see just after the Palmer sign, get onto the brakes heavily and off the gas, and almost immediately coming off the brake, actually a slight dab of the handbrake to help get the car turned in. And I should have been a little bit tight to the curb here, but you can see I'm already off the brake, back on the gas. I lost a couple of extra miles an hour than I wanted to, but back on the gas is actually slightly before the cones, but as they kind of come into sight on the right-hand side, and I did lose a little bit of speed through there. As soon as you get back on the gas, the car will start pushing wide, so as long as you've got space on the outside, you can kind of ride up onto that curb, then you should make the corner just fine. This next left-hander is an extremely important one to get the apex speed just spot on. You really can't afford to be losing any speed out of the corner here on the exit as you got a long straight coming up into the final few turns. Approaching it, you want to head over to the right-hand side and you're coming off the throttle just as you get to the rumble strips on the right-hand side. So you're coming off the throttle, and as you get to the red and white rumble strip section, you want to be coming onto the brakes and the gas just a tiny bit, just a slight dab of the brakes and a slight dab of the gas at the same time. Putting both pedals down at the same time just induces a bit of oversteer, and you want to be turning the car in as you do that. So you want just a slight dab of both pedals and turn into the corner, and you want to be apexing perfectly. You can't afford to go wide, and of course you can't afford to cut across the corner because the cones will disqualify you. But if you just come across the rumble strips and then come out to the wide and up onto the runoff on the right hand side, the apex speed is around 58, 59, somewhere around that. If you can get that spot on, then you'll have a nice run out of this corner. So you can see as we get to the rumble strips coming off the gas, then the double paved section on the right is the both pedals at the same time, and immediately after that, never even come fully off the gas. After that, you want to continue to just increase your throttle through the corner, hitting the apex perfectly, ending up wide. Don't worry if you just touch the grass on the outside, you won't be disqualified just for a slight wheel in that section on the right hand side, so you can keep your speed. And then we've got a nice exit out there coming in, and we're already up to 70 miles an hour coming in for this next section, which is full speed through this turn, up onto the rumbles, and then into the final corner. This final corner is absolutely essential that you get the apex speed and the exit speed just spot on. Going too fast will make the car understeer, widen into the sand, you'll lose your time. Going too slow means that you will just lose way too much speed on the final straight, and it is just so much time lost if you don't get enough exit speed here. That is really crucial to get it spot on. The speed that you are aiming to apex at is just around 52 miles an hour. You can probably get away with 51, 50 maybe, I think, is around where I did it. I lost a load of time here just going a little bit too slowly. But in approach to the corner anyway, you want to be on the left hand side of the track as you come up, starting your turning and braking just after the rumble strips on the right hand side have ended. You can see them now on the right hand side of the picture. So a little way after that on the left hand side, using the same technique as the previous left hander, a little bit of brake and a little bit of throttle just dabbed, maybe 25-30% at about the same time, then come off both and just let the car turn in. You'll actually find that it turns in quite nicely, and as it comes in, you'll see as it will point towards the apex, and that's when you want to come slowly back onto the gas, reapply that, and just again a gradual throttle back onto the exit. You can pretty much just wait for the speed to hit your optimal speed. So once you come off the brake and gas, the speed will be coming down and down and down. You can reapply the gas, and once you see it get to about that 52 mile an hour mark, that's when you can just get back on the throttle, and you can know that you're safe to get a good exit out of it. We'll play it back in slow mo and you can have a look how I did it. So you can see coming further wide left, then coming off the gas, the little bit of brake and throttle was about 50%, and then already back on the throttle. And this is where I made the mistake. I applied the brake just a bit too much for a second time, and I needed to get back onto the gas much earlier if I was going to do that. You can see I just waited too long. Speed is now down to 50 where it should have been at 52, like I said, and then I had, you know, plenty of space on the exit. But if you just get back on the gas a little bit early, just get it perfectly on 52, and you'll find the car comes wide, and you can just hug that left-hand side all the way around until you get to about the white line. Then you want to cut across the corner and to the right-hand side of the track, the shortest way to the finish line, and finish up the lap. So there it was, a 103.5. Hope you guys found this video useful. Of course, be sure to leave in the comments any questions or feedback, anything like that. Of course, we'll be going into round 2 once it is unveiled in a short while. And again, hope you enjoyed the video, hope it helped, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.